So today's project is my E250. He went for an MOT the other day and he mentioned the parking brake wasn't very efficient. So it's an inboard system working on the inside of the disc. It's a manual handbrake, works on brake shoes on the inside of the brake disc. So we're going to strip it down and we're going to replace all the parts. Here we go, we've got a new brake disc that goes inside, and inside there runs brake shoes. We've got a new pack of brake shoes for all the springs. That's those, go inside there. And we've also got a new set of brake pads, because by the time we took the calipers off and everything, and we got the new disc, so we might as well fit the brake pads as well. It's all pretty. Got it all for 100 quid, so it's all decent make as well. Organ back. So that's Quinton Hazel. So we're going to do it now. So first thing is to jack the back wheel up and take it from there. Right, so before we jack it up, the best thing to do is slacken the wheel bolts off. So when it's up in the air, it's a lot easier to slack them off now. We'll do that first. That's one. Two. Three. Oh, that's tight. 4, 5. If you've got alloy wheels, what we have, put a bit of tape on your spanner before you put it on, so it protects the inside, the lacquer inside the wheel. That just a little bit of masking tape I've used stops it scratching it. And then get yourself an axle stand, just to protect you. Put an axle stand underneath as well. Under there. And that will support it in case something goes wrong with your hydraulic jack. There you go, that's safe for now. That's got it. Now, just need to take the wheel off now then. There we go. Put that somewhere safe. That way. Right, let's have a look. So, we need to remove this screw here, torque screw, that just a retaining screw for the disc, and then also take the calipers off. That's undone around the back there. We might have to move this tie rod as well to get the socket in. So let's go and do that. Now the brake discs are fine, obviously fine on the outside. They're okay, still serviceable, but it's obviously inside that the problem is. So we need to take the disc off completely. So let's do that now. So let's get the spring off the pad for a start. Just prise it off with a screwdriver. There you go, take that off, put it somewhere safe. And then you need to get your big screwdriver inside, and between the brake pads, you need to squeeze in with a big screwdriver to part the discs. Part the pads away from the disc. And there you go. And that will then help you, once that's loose, to remove it. So we'll take the caliper pins out, slide pins out first, and then round the back, we'll remove the big bolts that hold the calipers, the whole thing on. So remove the dust caps from the slider pins for a start. Take that, put somewhere safe. And then with an Allen key, and this Allen key on the socket, you then put that on and slacken that off. Remove the pins completely. Keep winding until the pins come out. And then the same with the bottom one as well. take the slide pins out fully first. Shouldn't take too long, just unwind and wind and wind them. And back to the top one. And then I should, there you go. Push the pins out, I think we've done, or maybe this one a bit more. Yeah, that's done. Put that safe, push them out, and that should come off. There we go, just waggle and it just come off. Make sure the pins have been pushed right out from the threads, and then it'll come off easy. There we go, and that's the caliper. What you need to do now is tie this up. So we're going to get some wire and tie this up out of the way so it doesn't put any stress on the brake pipe there. There you go, so just tie that out of the way, and that doesn't put any stress on the brake pipe. So once that's tied out of the way, now we can remove the hanger for the caliper. So these bolts at the back are really, really tight. So the top one, you can't quite get on a socket and wrench because of this tie bar. So you need to take that tie bar off first. The bottom one's easy. That, you can get that one dead easy, that's easy, but they will be tight, so you need a long bar on these. So we'll take this tie bar off first and move it out of the way. Okay, this is a 16mm spanner on the back of that, and that should come, start loosening off. There we go, that's it. Come on, get the right size. There we go. Once that's taken off, you pull this out of the way. There's a bit of tension still on there. Oh, bolt gone. Yeah, pull out of the way. Retrieve the nut from where it was dropped. I think it's dropped in that suspension. There we go, we'll find it. Big fingers. That's gravity for you. Come on. Got it. Stick that at the end of the bolt so you don't lose it. Now you can move this tie bar out of the way to get your big socket on. And there we go with the big socket. Here we go. Come on. It's tight. Oh, here you go. Oh, they're very tight, they are. Very tight, there's one gone. And then the other one. Get on. Tie bar's in the way again. Move that to one side. Come on, get on. There you go. That's tight. Okay. They're off. We're off now. So once you've slackened them off, you can get a more compact wrench in now and to take them off completely. It's a bit tight in here, but once you've got them loose, it's a lot easier. There's 18mm by the way, and they were thread locked, so they were originally tight once you get them going. Sometimes you get these bolts, new bolts with thread lock on with a kit. I'm not sure if we've got ours yet, we've not opened it yet, but and then the top one. That's it, the top one off. And then this caliper bracket we can take off and get at the disc. So that's a hard bit on in a minute when it comes off. Come on, come on, come on. A few more threads. There we go. With that tie bar against in the way. There you go. And you take the whole caliper off there. There's the brake shoe come with it as well. Brake shoe is a bit corroded, but there's nothing wrong with those. It's all good meat off. And that's the caliper. That one's cleaned up a little bit before we put new shoes on. Now the disc. There's nothing on the disc on now apart from this little grub screw. So let's take that out. So that it's a T30, I believe. To get that grub screw out, that retaining screw that holds the disc on. So this won't be that tight. You might need to hammer it for a bit, but there you go. It's not too bad. These don't have to be too tight. The disc can't fall off with the brakes. The wheel's on because the wheel bolts hold it on anyway, but it's just there. Just hold it on while you're working on it. So take that out, put that somewhere safe. Now the big problem with these, if they've not been off for a long time, is the fact they seize on. They just rust on completely because the brakes are hardly, the parking brake is hardly used on automatic. People don't bother using it, so inside gets all corroded up. So this will have to be banged quite a few times to get it off because they don't come off easy. You can knock it from the back, but it's difficult to get in there. There's not much room. So my best thing I found is get some WD-40 and spray just by the threads there. It's about run out, this is. By the threads inside, just that little dip there, and that will run inside in between the brake disc itself. It's about run out. Brake disc itself and the where the drum brakes are, and that will go in between the two, and then you can leave it for a little while. Spray loads in there. It'll run between the gap, and then get your hammer, give it a good bang. I've got a screwdriver at the minute, but. And that will help the WD-40 run in between there, in between, to help free it up. You can also put a little bit around here as well, around there. It does run out, doesn't it? That's good. You need some more, a bit of there, and that will help. I think we need some more WD-40, but there's a little drop in. There you go, a little bit around there as well. And then get your hammer, give it a good bang. Right, it's been soaking for a while now, and the two best methods to remove the disc are this one really. If you're going to use the disc again and you don't want to damage it, then thump it loads of times with this, knock it, knock it, knock it, and the vibration hopefully gets your WD-40 to run in between the disc and the mounting bracket behind. That will help. If you're not going to use the disc again, you want to use one of these, and you can. Well, I'm not going to use it again, so. Whack, 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 whack. And eventually he says, the disc will come free. Here it goes. And you can remove the disc like that, he says. And it's not going to come off very easy. It's still not going to come off. There we go, it went off. And then you remove the disc. And there we go. Right. You may find, if it is really, really tight, you may have to adjust this adjuster. You can go through one of the holes, one of the lugs there, and you can put a screwdriver in. If I've got a screwdriver, I'll show you. Yeah, you put a screwdriver in like that, without ticking off, and you can move those round. So that way, is to loosen the brake pads off, the brake shoes off, and the other way tightens them up. So you slacken them off, and if you've got a lip that's on the side, inside of your disc, inside there, it will help to clear that so you can move them. Now look at these discs, they're quite badly worn inside. Rusty, rusty, rusty. So this is why it needs new discs really, because I'm not doing this. The friction material is crap on that. There's where the WD-40 went inside to remove it. This ain't too bad, it could be reused, but we bought some new ones now, so we're going to put the new ones on. The brake shoes themselves don't look too bad, but they weren't working very well, so this is going to all be stripped down. We've got new springs, and we're going to lubricate it. We're going to lubricate the cable where it comes in as well, and it'll look as good as new when we're finished. So here we go. So to take the little retaining springs out, you need to put some long nose pliers through the hole in the hub and press in and then twist about 90 degrees or so, and it will then come out. There you go, there's one removed. Right, we need to spin the hub a little bit because it's automatic. We've got to put it in neutral. So we go around the front, at the door, put the keys in. There you go. Keys in, ignition on, and then foot on the brake, as you would normally, and then select neutral. There you go, and then leave the ignition on, and you can then spin the wheel. Another little chip as well. So then remove the bottom retaining spring. Come out. There you go, that's that one removed. Now that makes the I keep calling them pads, the shoes nice and free. So now we've got to take the spring off that's inside. There we go, that spring there. Now put a big screwdriver underneath, just leave it out like that, and you can pull them apart and you can take the adjuster out. That's the adjuster. Brakes ported. Should come off in one go. The big screwdriver. Oh, my fingers are trapped. You'll have to take the spring off, I think. Let's just flip that spring off. Oh, nearly. Once you've got the adjuster out, you've got a bit of room to play. And get your long nose pliers out and pop that spring off, and that's that one. There's one side out. Now back to the other side. Then with a bit of a wiggling waggling, you can then remove the other shoes the other side. There's a spring. Get the spring out as well. Let's get the spring out if it comes out somehow. Oh, come on. How do you come out? Just pull out, do you? Let's move that. There you go. That's removed then. That's all. We're ready to go. So this is the part that's operated by the cable, which seizes up a little bit. So you need to free this up with a WD-40 or a bit of copper slip, so it adjusts nice and easily. That's not too bad, but I will put a bit of copper slip around that, I think, before we put the new brake shoes on. So I put a little bit of copper slip now on this mechanism, and if there's any excess rust around it, just give it a wire brush, clean it up a little bit. There's always be a bit of mess on there. Just clean that up, make it look presentable again. Also around the hub as well, where the new disc will fit on. You do need really to clean that up, make it nice and true, nice and flat when it fits on. You don't want you to get any wobbles, so give that a good wire brush in all around the outside as well, and then just inside there. Any loose materials, get them off as well. And ready for the new shoes to be fitted. So let's go fit the new shoes. Right, the new shoes then. Here we go. In the shoes, there's the new ones. That's the old one. The old one weren't too bad looking at it, but don't get a lot of wear, I don't think. These ones here, a new spring kit, some new retaining bolts as well, Torx bolts, instructions if you don't know how to do it, and there you go. This is a Borg & Bear, so let's get them fitted. This is the adjuster as well, so we need to give that a good clean as well, because that's filthy. Give that a bit of a wire brush, and we'll put a little bit of copper slip on that as well before it goes back in. I've just noticed on the shoes that we've taken out, you can see the areas of contact just on the edges, No wonder the brake worked very well. The centre is unmarked, and it's only been catching on the edges there, so that's why the parking brake was inefficient. So yeah, that's why then. Okay, new one's in anyway. You've also got a few contact patches where the shoes touch the back plate there, wherever it is. So just put a bit of copper slip grease on those things that stick out on the back plate to help it as well. So I've just done that, and then we put the shoes on now. Okay, and now that was a bit fiddly to get the shoes back on. These bloody springs, you need some decent long nose pliers, which I've fortunately got, to get the springs on around the back. That you put on the front ones there, you put the springs on first and prise it over this adjustment bar, and the other ones, they're tricky to pull through, but you take that out first, put it on, put the spring on there, and then prise this apart and put the adjuster back on again. So that's all done now. So we put it in neutral again so we can turn it round. We've got one spring retainer on the bottom, and now we're going to put the one on the top. So that's a brand new one. So we move the wheel round, the hub round rather, until we got a free, let's have a look at that, just put that there a second, a gap, there we go. And then again with your long nose pliers, you put that on there, and then you stick it through. You should line up with a cutout in the back of the hub on the plate. You put it in, you turn it, and there you go, and that's retained. So there you go, they're all retained. Next thing to do is get a cleanish cloth, and this is alcohol. Wipe your pads down if there's any grease that you may have got on your shoes rather. Again, keep calling them pads on your shoes. Get the grease off. Get all the muck off that's on the hub as well. Make sure that's nice and clean. And now you're ready to put your disc back on. So we slacken the adjuster right off. So the adjuster now is at its minimum. And when we've got the hub on, the disc, we can just play about with this, and we'll adjust it going this way. Adjust it until the brake pads, the brake shoes, just catch on the disc, and then we'll back it off a little bit. So we'll do that now. Right, and there's a brand new disc. Try and keep your dirty fingers off the surface on there, if possible. Right, that should just slip on now. Straight over the brake shoes, like that. It says, and it doesn't. So why don't that fit on? I think we'll have to slacken the shoes down a little bit more. So, okay. And I was going to fit the new one on, and the bloody thing didn't fit. Although it was listed from Quinton Hazel as the E-Class 2010 to 2016 A207 convertible, they didn't fit. They were too high. The actual discs, the height of the disc was about there. So they're about 68 mil. And the ones, these measured about 57. Although they said they're the right ones, they weren't, so I had to send them back. You can't read the part numbers on this. Well, you could if you bloody cleaned it properly, which I didn't. I just assumed they'd know which one it was. So I had to send off some more discs, and they sent me these in the end. I'll cross-reference the part numbers. The ones you need is the BDC 5862, which are lower in profile there. That thickness there, that is 58 or 57 thereabouts, and the ones they sent was 68. So they're about 10 mil thinner. So they fit on. Now, these discs look okay actually. They're supposed to be nickel plated or something going rusted. I don't know whether that'll work. But the original ones I took off, they were very, very scored inside. You can see that. They're terribly scored. Even though when I knew they were like that, I did run about with the handbrake on gently for a few miles. Well, on and off, on and off. But they were so badly rusted because they don't get used. So this is a good reason to change them. Although the disc ain't worn down really, but I thought I'd change the whole lot, get it done. So, right, let's stick the new discs on then. Right, I've just tried the new discs and they fit perfect. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put a little bit of this Never Seal on, just a little bit round the smear, just a gentle bit round the edges. That's all. Just a little bit, just to help if somebody needs to take a disc off again. They probably won't. Perhaps in another 10 years' time, maybe. But do a little bit round there. Just smear it over. That's it. Just in case, it'll come off a lot easier next time. Right, let's put the disc on now. Okay, disc's about to go on, so I'm just going to put some cleaner on the brake shoes because we've had the old disc on there, just to clean them up a little bit. Make sure they're nice and clean again. Not brand new, that's right. Clean the disc as well. You'll have a bit of residue on the disc where you picked it up, so you get a bit of that off as well on the inside. And on there as well, on the inside where the brakes shoes fit, and then whack it on. So let's line it up, stick it on, line it up to where the retaining screw goes, and we'll put somewhere safe, and here it is. We're having to use the old retainer because the new one they sent is different thread. It's coarser thread, so that's in the bin. Put that one back on. It's very strange, that's a different thread, but there you go. Tighten this up, nice and tight, to a specified torque, which is, I think it's about there. Click, yeah, it's there. Okay, so we're still in neutral, so we can move the wheel around a bit. It's just slightly catching on the drums there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the handbrake on a couple of times to centralise the drum the pads, and then we'll come back and we'll adjust it slightly through the little hole. Okay, I've done that. So get your torch and shine it through one of the stud holes, which is one there, and you'll see the adjuster. I can just make it out maybe. Well, it's down there. We probably can't actually because it's too dark. No, there is an adjuster in there. No, yeah, just see the edge of it, I think. So you turn that with your screwdriver until the brakes bind a little bit, and then back it off until they're free. So we'll need to do that a little bit and just move it one way, a couple of segments until it's still binding, but only just. So keep adjusting it until they go tight, and then back it off a little bit. That's all you have to do. Back it off a little bit. So we need to go this way, I think. We need to go that way. And that's tightening up a little bit now. So we might take it a little bit further, then we'll just back it on. Okay, I think I've got it now. It's about right. Just touching a little bit, but it's free. So we'll reassemble the caliper now and put that all back together. Caliper's all tightened up out there. Just needs a bit more of a clean. And then put new brake pads in as well. So we'll just take it off there and rehang it. Okay, got the bottom one in now, so swing it over. Put the top one in. Start off with your fingers. There you go, and then get your socket on them. These will have to be really tight. I can't remember what the torque is, so I'll just have a look what the torque is and get my torque wrench on to finish them off, but they are very, very tight. Okay, just torque those up. There you go, that's one done. And then the other one. Get on. Okay, that's torqued up. There we go, that's tight. Right, we have a new set of brake pads. That's those. That's the BP1582. It does say C class on there as well. I just noticed that says C class, but this is for the E class. It's just so confusing. Anyway, there's the new pads. Let's go in there. Stick those on. The new pads are about twice as much as the old pads in depth. So I guess the old pads are worn roughly half down. So when you put them in your caliper, you may need to compress the caliper first before you can get them both in, otherwise it'll be too tight to put over your disc. So you need to compress that. I've already done mine now, so you might have to do that. Okay, we've got the first one in. That's the one with the springy. That's gone inside the piston there. So that's that one done. Then you put the other one on first, on the hanging bracket. Put a bit of Never Seal on it, on the inside of the ears. That's a little bit of this stuff. Just tiny little bit on the inside of the ears, on each one. A bit on the one that's got the spring on the back as well, the backing one. A little bit on there. And then you can assemble it. You might have to push the piston in because there's lots more thickness on these the pads, so you might push it in. I've just already pushed mine in, so it should slip on. There we go, slip on nicely. There you go, piece of cake. Slips on. And then you can do the bolt, slider bolts up, which we've got a proper thing somewhere. There we go. I'll do these up. Change that for that. Tighten these up. Also make sure you grease your sliders as well, which I think we've already spoken about. Take the pins out, clean them right up, and then do these up. One started, I think. And then the bottom one. There we go. Is it started? It is in a minute. Okay, tighten those up. Okay, they're all fully in now, just get them nice and tight. Again, you can proper set a proper torque on these if you need to. Come on, it's nearly there, that's it. And then the top one again, just top the top one up. Also, don't forget to put your little dust caps back on again. Don't lose them, these little dust caps. Don't forget to put those back on. Tighten that up then. Click. And the bottom one. Come on. Here we go. And just come out. Click. That's tight. Excellent. Oh, click. Okay, dust cap. We'll take that out first. That's it. And the other one at the bottom, and then get a waggle, make sure everything's free. And it is. So that's the brakes back in again now. Right, get to make sure that there's no oil or grease left on the discs, which we've cleaned it up with some alcohol-based cleaner. That's all nice. Take your hanger off, because you'll need that for the next one. Can we do it on the other side? Off. There we go, nice one. And then we have to reapply this now. This little tie bar, it's under tension because the wheels drop down, so we need to put the jack under the bottom of here, just lift it up gently so that lines up, and we put the bolt back in again. Keep jacking it up and this will line up again. Get it right. Back on and put the bolt on, the nut rather. Oh, gravity, it's dropped down somewhere. Right, once that's lined up, I say put the bolt on, which I just happened to drop a minute ago, but I found it okay. The aid of a magnet. Here we go, and tighten that one up. With the proper spanner, which I have somewhere. Okay, tighten that up to the specified torque, which is click. There we go. That's that done. Last thing then is to put the spring on. There goes, it locks in one of those, then you need a big screwdriver to lock it in, which I can't do one-handed, but you just put a screwdriver through there and leave it on. Okay, that's all finished. So nice and tight, all the bolts are tightened up, Those slider pins are nice and tight, dust caps are on. We've greased and cleaned the sliders themselves. That slides nice in and out. That's all retaining pins there. That's it. The wheel can go on now. Another little tip, once you put your wheel on and you just put a few, well, put your bolts in, just gently tighten them up while you put it on. Leave your wheel brace on. So when you lower your jack down, I'll have to do that in a second. There you go. It reminds you to tighten your wheels up. So sometimes you can lower it down and get the neighbour comes by and talks to you, you forget to finish tightening your wheels up. So leave your jack on and then just go around properly and tighten it up fully tight like that. Diagonally, by the way, do them diagonally as best you can. Go around gently, diagonally. There we go. So the driver's side is exactly the same as the near side, apart from the fact you have a wear sensor on the pad, on the inner pad. So you have to take this plug out. If I can just put, there you go, take the plug out there, and then you can remove the pad with the sensor intact. There you go. You need to remove that sensor and put it on the new pad. So finally got it out with a little bit of prizing and WD-40, and it just slots in there. There's a little hole there, you can see it just slots in, and what happens is when your brakes work down to a certain level, it breaks the connection. That's the wires in and out there, so it breaks that connection and puts a little light on your dashboard. It breaks the connection rather than makes it, so it's default. It will, if anything goes wrong or it falls off, it still brings your light up. So it actually wears away so much that it just brings, breaks the connection, puts your light on. So there we go. So there's a new one. Again, exactly the same with a hole inside. So all it does, it just slots inside. So put it around that way, and then it just slots straight in the little hole there, like that, and just push it in as far as it goes. And there you go. That's all ready to go. Push it a bit further actually till it's really tight, and then he says, and just push that in, and then that's ready to go back in. Okay. Once you've got the other brake disc off, you get loads of rust on that. When you took the shoes off as well, just give it a bit clean, get all the loose junk off it, make it look a bit nicer. I've actually put a little bit of penetrating oil on that connection as well, that little bracket there that's operated by the handbrake cable, so lubricated that up as well. Put some copper slip on it, just get the rest on, make it nice and clean, and on the inside of the caliper as well, get all that nice and clean. So pay particular attention to those slides there. That's where the ears of the pads fit, and they have to be really nice and clean, and then lubricating with copper slip or equivalent, and it helps the pads move around a bit, stop squealing. I think that'll do. It's lovely. So we're finished now. All the new brake shoes are on. The springs are a bugger to get on, but we did it. We've put a little bit of grease around all the pivot points, a little bit of grease around the back of the shoes as well, where it rubs against the back plate. Now the next job is to put these in, these little retaining springs. So go through a hole with long nose pliers, go through there, and you put it in, and you just twist right through if you can get it. There you go, and that's done. There you go, that's one done. Now the bottom one. There you go, that's the bottom one in as well, so fully secure. Okay, now it's time to put the new disc on. That's the new one. I'll keep it as clean as I can. And spin it round to the locator, and then we'll put the retaining screw in about there. A little retaining screw. That's it. To specified torque. Oops, gravity again. This goes in there. Tiny more. Right. Click. That's all done. We need to put this, the one with the sensor in now, the pad with the sensor. So we put a little bit of grease around the back, push that through there, and then wiggle it in, and then just push it, and it should lock in place. Here it goes. Come on. Fingers up. It's tight. I'll tell you that. Come on, come on, come on. It is tight. Yes, that's it. Oh, okay, it's into the caliper piston now. Push it fully home. Come on, get in. There you go. That's it. And then reconnect the sensor. It's all the same, I believe. Box. There we go. And that's one done. Right, all the pads are back in now, so we're just going to tighten the slider pins again. We just made sure they were greased up and they're nice and free. So I'm just going to tighten that up. One. Okay, it's all finished. There's the disc fitted on. New pads, spring all tight around there. Everything tightened up again. Just needs a wipe down before I put the wheel on. A little bit of grease still on there. There's the pads. There was still plenty of meat on those actually. But oh, and there's the old shoes. There's still plenty of meat on those as well. Didn't do anything. You can just see the score marks, the shiny bit where they were just making a little bit of contact. So that's all done. That's new discs, both sides, new pads and new brake shoes and springs. So just get it wiped down, put the wheel on, take it for a run. Okay, finished. So conclusion there. 2 new brake discs, really corroded inside. Handbrake not working very well. Changed a whole lot. 2 new brake discs, inboard brake shoes and springs, and a set of rear brake pads. All done. Total cost is around about 120 quid. All done. So I'm quite pleased now.